Hi guys, as usual, before we will begin, all the necessary links in the video description and my test system setup details also in the video description. The video may be a little shaky because this guy is so big that I had to use some kind of impromptu stand for my tripod. Yeah, so it was a long time since the first look video on that amplifier. This is, by the way, this is a clone of Accuphase A-75. I had so much hope that this one will be the winner of my amplifier race for my electrostats that I had to cool down and wait a little to remove any expectation bias I could have. And then two sales, AliExpress sales happened, and this guy, being largest and the heaviest of the bunch, went to the bottom of the stack of the new deliveries, and it was really hard to get it out. Same story happened to LF5 clone, but I got both of them out recently to finish the reviews. So this is a stereo amplifier, that's a clone of Accuphase A-75. The real thing is something like $21,000 for a new one, and the second-hand ones can be found on HiFi Shark for something like $9,000 to $10,000. This guy was $1,200 and that included shipping, but this was a sale price lowered by the coupons as large as I could get my hands on. This is supposed to be Class A amplifier, but I have some big doubts about that. I would say it's probably biased into Class AB, more likely. So let's talk some numbers. For pure Class A, the manufacturer, the seller actually, specifies this amplifier as 480 watts into two channels, sorry, per channel into 1 ohm load. For 2 ohms load, the power output drops to 240 watts per channel, and we have 120 watts per channel into 4 ohms, and the lowest number is 60 watts per channel into 8 ohms. This guy can work as mono amplifier. This is one of the few, if not the only one, from the amplifiers that I reviewed so far that has the ability to be breached by the configuration on the back of the amplifier that we will see in a minute. Anyway, when it's breached, it provides 960 watts into 2 ohm loads, and that drops to 480 watts into 4 ohm loads, and that goes down to 240 watts into 8 ohm loads. So it's really, really powerful. It's quite heavy as it weighs a little bit less than 30 kilograms. Now, frequency response is given as 0.5 Hz, so basically from the flat DC, to 160 kilohertz. Signal to noise ratio is 118 decibels. Total harmonic distortion is specified, interestingly, for two types of loads. For 2 ohm load, so the heaviest, the most difficult load, it's 0.05%, and that drops down, which is actually better, to 0.01% into 8 ohm loads. But these two numbers mean that this is a very clean amplifier because 2 ohms load is very difficult load. It's basically very close to just shortening the speaker tabs, and still with such a difficult load it's able to achieve 0.05% THD. Now, damping factor is specified as 1000, and this is excellent number, one of the largest damping factors for the amplifiers I've tested so far. I think it's bested only by Burmester clones. Now, I've measured the power consumption as 173 watts when idle, and it was something like a little less than 180 watts when it was playing some music. But both of these numbers were taken by my Tuya smart plug, so it should be basically the same within the measurement error limit. Now, I've measured the temperature of this amplifier as anything between 40 and 41 degrees centigrade on the fins here. And this is one of the things that make me think that this is not pure Class A. Pure Class A would be running way hotter, even with such large case, such large chassis. If you recall, I've been reviewing PAS LF5 clone that actually is pure Class A amplifier. I've been doing the video about 2 weeks ago, something like that. And that guy was reaching over 60 degrees centigrade everywhere on the chassis, including front plate. It was like a small house heater. And this one is pretty civilized in temperature area, because as I've said, it reaches 40-41 degrees centigrade. So that's basically nothing. Now, let's talk about the build, the external and the internal build. And we will start with the external. And let's talk about the front of the amplifier. I've connected some source of music for your enjoyment, so you can see how it looks when it's powered on. I may try to zoom a little. Yeah, maybe you'll be able to see some things clearer. So, starting from the knobs, we have speaker set selection knob. This is again one of the few amplifiers that has 2 sets of speaker tabs, but this one allows you actually to choose the one you'll be using, and we have an indicator for that here. So right now I've chosen the speaker A group. I can switch that to speaker B group, and I can switch that to both groups, and I can turn it off completely. So no sound output at the moment. Yeah, the second one is responsible for the meter range. It allows you to choose between 10 watts, 100 watts, 1000 watts, and display off. Right now we have 10 watts. I don't know what's playing currently there, but it's reaching the limit of the view meter. So let's change that to 100 watts, and it's still here. 1000 watts, it's probably set to loud. I'll lower the volume. Yeah, and now switching back to 100 and to 10 watts. You can see that I'm actually changing the scale of the display, and turning the display off gives us this effect. So let's have it like that. We have a power switch here, quite nice. And we have something very important that I was talking about in my first look video. We have the input selector. And it's important because the input selector switch is on the front of the device. Usually with the clone amplifiers that have balanced or single-ended inputs, you have switch like that in the back of the device, and it's not basically for choosing the input, it's for selecting the one and only that will be used with the amplifier. In this case, you can actually switch them from front, and we have a indicator light for that here. And this means that we can connect 2 source inputs, one for the single-ended connectors and the second one for the balanced connectors, and switch between them. So this is a quite nice functionality, and I haven't seen anything like that on any other amplifier that I've tested so far. Also, most of the power amplifiers, real ones that I've used during past 20 years, if they had switch like that, it was also on the back, because as I've said, it was for selecting the one and only input that will be used with the amplifier, not as something that can be found in integrated amplifiers when you can freely select the input. In this case, you can choose between XLRs, balanced input, and single-ended RCA inputs. And the last one is also important, because the last one allows you to choose the gain. And right now I have set it at the maximum gain level. We can switch it to -3 decibels, then we have -6 decibels, and then we have -12 decibels. And you can see this also changes the output level here. We have a couple of funny typos in the lettering of the amplifier, because this one is actually called not the input, it's called earput, I don't know how to spell that, and it's not exactly centered against the switch. And we have those big, beautiful pin power level indicators. Not peak, but pin. So if you want to measure your pin, these are perfect. Now, the scales are fine, speakers are fine, the name here, bridging indicator, I haven't told you about that. If we will use the switch on the back to change the working mode for the amplifier to bridged, it will light up. And we have a logo here. The logo is backlit with green. It's Masmis. The company that's producing those clones is called Masmis, and they are also producing some other Accuphase clones. Yeah, so that's all when it comes to the controls and the display. These are actually useful. These are solid mounted handles that will help you to move the amplifier. They are quite handy because it's a really heavy beast. The whole front is made from quite thick aluminum slab. It's I think almost 1 centimeter thick or something like that, and it's I don't know, it's not gold plated, it's anodized in gold. Though although the quality is very nice, you may be able to see, or you may not be able to see, that I've managed to make a scratch here, because as I've said, it was on the bottom of the pile of the equipment, and apparently I was placing something on top of it, almost as heavy as this one, and I scratched it. Yeah, so now before we will take a look at the back, I will power it off, and I will disconnect the cables there, so just give me a second and we will be right back. Okay, so that's it. We can turn it the other way around. On the top of the top plate you can see some venting holes, and you can see a really nice, really large heat sinks on the sides. Yeah, and in the back of the amplifier we have a couple of interesting things. Okay, so in the bottom here we have a power socket connector. We have two sets of speaker tabs, two sets of groups of the speaker tabs, for the right channel and for the left channel, and we have group A and group B, and then we have group A and group B. Also, the same tabs are used for connecting the speakers in bridged mono mode. So it's actually printed on the chassis, but it's printed under the speaker tabs, so you won't be able to see that, I think. Now, yeah, just a little. So you're connecting positive speaker cable for bridged mono mode here, and negative speaker cable for bridged mono mode here. The manual and the description from the seller says that you should use group A speaker tabs, but the actual print of the chassis says that both of them should be fine. So these guys or those guys. Now, if you'll be using this in bridged mono mode, you have to switch this here to this position, and then you have a small arrow saying that the input for the bridged mono is here. So if you're using this in monoblock mode, you can only use XLR input, dedicated XLR input that's found here, and the description from the seller says that it works in fully balanced mono mode. For the regular stereo operation, you switch that here, and you have an arrow pointing up, so you can choose one of those sets of inputs. You can use RCA inputs or balanced XLR inputs. Those are gold plated, and the speaker connectors I think are also gold plated, but these are the regular, quite popular speaker tabs that you can see on many other cloned amplifiers. So let's place it back here. And let's talk about those guys. These are two solid metal blocks screwed to the back of the amplifier, and the purpose is that these are stands. If you'll be carrying the amplifier by the handles in the front of it, you'll want to probably stand it on your floor or something like that. And the idea is that these will be working as stands protecting the speaker tabs from the damage, because it's really heavy. Now let's take a look inside, and let's start with the top chassis. It's really heavy, it's really thick. As you can see, it's something like 6 millimeters of solid aluminum, something like that. So about the dust, it's black, so it catches everything. Yeah, but it does look good, and the venting holes also look very nice. I mean, this is one of the heaviest and the most solid top chassis for all of the amps that I've reviewed, if not the heaviest and the largest one of them. Okay, so let's move my camera now. I pause the video for a second because we will be taking a look inside of the amplifier. Okay, so let's talk about what's inside. Sorry for the roof lamps reflection that you can see, ceiling lamps that you can see here. The sticker on the shield for the transformer is very shiny, and it reflects everything. So we have a very large toroidal transformer hiding under the shield. I think, but I'm not sure about the number. I think the manufacturer says it's 800 watts or so. No, more than that. Give me a second, I'll check. Now, there's nothing about the transformer capacity in the description from the seller, but if this would really be capable of outputting 960 watts into in mono mode, then I would guess that this should be at least 1200 watts transformer. But that's just my educated guess. Now, you can see 4 very large capacitors. These are actually larger than my fist. They are taller, they are wider, and although you cannot see the labels from this point, I don't think you will be able to see them even if I rotate the amplifier, because they are on the bottom, but we'll see about that when I rotate that amplifier. These capacitors are branded with Musmus, and the offer descriptions are stating that these were actually made by Nichicon to the order of Musmus, and they are specified as able to carry 160,000 microfarads each, meaning that we have 320,000 microfarads per channel, and in total we have staggering 640,000 of microfarads for this amplifier. So this is the largest capacity in any of the cloned amplifiers that I've seen so far. Now, what can we see here? All of the cabling, all of the wiring is hidden very neatly under this metal shield tunnel that runs through the amplifier from back to front, and I will actually show you how it looks underneath, from the underneath, because this is something that the manufacturer places in the description of the offer. We have capacitor mounting points, we have neatly routed cables, and we have a board that's hiding in this metal tunnel. We have 2 amplifier boards, they are exactly the same, and we have front PCB that is responsible for all of the controls and displays. And that's basically it. The PCB board here is signed by Musmus. Let's zoom in there. Yeah, it looks like that. As you can see, there are also some more typos because it's not balanced by balanced, but still these are very nicely designed boards. Let's try to focus down there. Nope, still nothing. Yeah, so let's zoom in out. Let's zoom out and let's talk about the amplifier boards. So let's rotate that guy and let's take a look from this point of view. So those guys are Nichicons. We have some ceramic resistors and we have a set of transistors over there. What else can we see on the boards? Yeah, all of the capacitors have Nichicons, and we can see some very nice handmade inductor over there. Let's zoom in. Yeah, that's the guy over there. Yeah, we can see some capacitors, and I'll zoom in for the transistors, although I'm pretty sure you won't be able to see. No, you are able, as I am, to see the actual transistor types. The manufacturer says that the pairing for the power transistors is within 1%. Yeah, so it does look quite nice. Let's take a look at the parts of the board visible from here. Yeah, let's zoom out. And there's also one more thing that I wanted to show you. That's actually the back of the amplifier. If you take a look at the documentation for the original Accuphase A-75, the guys at Accuphase are stating that they are not using relays for the speaker output control because the relays in their experience are current limiting factor, lowering the dampening factor. So they are using MOSFET devices, and we have exactly the same devices here. These guys are used as relays, so about the, yeah, it should be more stable right now. These guys are working as relays, but they are high current capable relays, sorry, not relays, high current capable ICs that are able to provide higher dampening factor than with regular relays. We also have this guy. This is a speaker protecting IC that's used in many other amplifiers. And we have connectors to the board and gold-plated speaker connectors. So let's zoom out. Yeah. Let's try to see the label on the caps, if that will be possible, but yeah, nothing. I had to use a small mirror to take a look what's in there. So, have I told you everything about the build? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've promised when I was doing my first look video and we were talking about that amplifier in the comments, I've promised you that I will try to measure the capacitance of those caps to check if they are real, but there was a slight problem with that because I don't have a meter capable of something like that because of the limitations of the metering range. I've tried to use 3 of the meters that I'm currently using, and none of them was able to measure it correctly. So let's be honest, I'm a little bit lazy, so I didn't design any circuit to measure this manually and to do the calculations, and that's it. So let's talk about the sound properties, but give me a second to close it, to connect some music source so you'll have some enjoyment from moving meters, and let's talk about what's the important, the single most important thing about this amplifier. Just a second. So it's ready. It will be that part of my video that you can call a talking head video, but without the head part. So let's talk about the bass. The bass has great extension, it goes really low, but it's always in total control. That's this high damping factor. There is no bloat, no muddiness, bass is very fast and reminds me the best D-class amplifier bass, with great speed and detail. It has that ability to fill the room and create foundation for everything else, but without overwhelming everything with a rumble. It's powerful when called for, but it doesn't flood everything with uncontrolled bass. As for the timbre, I would say that it's a bit dry, maybe because of the speed. Maybe I'd like to infuse some of that Aleph 5 warmth here, but all in all, I love the bass here. So let's talk about the mid-range. The mids are super clear and transparent. They have tons of detail and give excellent insight into all vocal nuances. The mids are dead neutral, no additional warmth, but also nothing overly analytical here. There is no sibilance, and this clarity makes you want to turn the volume higher and higher. One of the few amps that made me do this. This mid-range is very honest and revealing, but don't expect tube smoothness here. A-75 will tell you how the things are for good or bad, depending on your track's quality. Now, let's talk about the treble. Same as mid-range, treble is very open and transparent. There is light, there is air, everything sounds clear and open. There is no sibilance and no listening fatigue, even with higher volume levels. That would indicate probably low THD, exactly as it was specified, as the THD usually goes higher with higher frequency. So if you have, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with THD drawings, and the idea is that if you have a frequency and you have THD level, then the THD would be looking like that, rising up with the higher frequencies. And high THD, how does it affect us? High THD makes us want to turn the volume lower, because with high THD levels the sound gets shouty and fatiguing. Nothing like that here. But I was digressing. Let's get back to the treble. There are tons of detail, and this clarity will make you hate MP3 files for those annoying compression artifacts. It's so detailed that you will hear every digital compression artifact in MP3 files. But provide high quality recordings, something high-res or DSD, and you'll love what you will hear from this amplifier. Now, moving on to detail. This beast has stunning resolution. I know my test tracks by heart, and yet still A-75 was able to show me some small things here and there that I honestly had heard for the first time. I've had a lot of this, wait a minute, what was that over there? Moments with my test playlist when I was rewinding a little and trying to listen to a particular passage for one more time to check what exactly I was hearing there. It's like it's crazy fast, so you can hear stuff that was earlier obscured by something else. Like for example, in the first second of acoustic version of 1973 by James Blunt, you can clearly hear some studio sounds, and although it's not music, I like discovering such small gems because they make me feel like the artists, like the instrumentalists are actually here with me. Those small nuances, that's all of these small imperfections in the music. As I've said, the first second of the track, you can clearly hear that there were some things happening in the studio. Now, moving on to scene and imaging. A75 clone has crazy good imaging on the T9.4 level easily. The scene is very wide, it's very deep, and it's very tall. You can easily hear the ambience of the place where recording was taken, and this works wonders with live recordings. Center image is solid, but the most impressive thing is spatial resolution for the sound sources that are close to each other. They can be very close, but they are still separate entities. Images have real life sizes, and the depth info gives them holographic quality. This is one of the very few amplifiers, top class amplifiers, that has top class imaging, especially when it comes to the depth and height information. Now, for the power amplifiers, I have another section, additional section in my reviews when I'm testing those guys against my Martin Logan Ascens, like those over there, and M10s lately. So let's talk about that now. Okay, so M10s just shine with this amplifier, and you just want to go louder and louder. The scene is just huge. This is something that, let's say, it's a synergy between this amplifier and those speakers, because they also create a huge scene, and this one has a precise scene. So the scene fills the room, and in my case, it actually goes beyond the walls that I have here. This is an amazing feat. You're closing your eyes, and you're no longer in the room that I know by my heart, because I've spent not exactly half my life here, but I've been here for the last 10 years or so. So I know the size of the room, and I'm closing the eyes, and the sounds are coming from behind the walls on the sides and behind the wall in the back. So that's something unusual. But the real magic happens with Martin Logan Ascent 1 electrostats. It's like together they would be amplifying their best skills. Everything is clear, it's precise, it's super 3D and full of detail, but still musical and engaging. I got this particular amplifier because one of the things that caught my attention in the description from the seller, as you remember, I've given you the power output specification, and the specification for that clearly states that this amplifier is able to easily handle 1 and 2 ohm loads, and the Ascents are going as low as 1.2 ohms in the treble. So they are very hard to drive by most of the regular amplifiers, and if the amplifier is not powerful enough, the Ascents will give you that on a plate, because they will lose treble. With this guy, nothing like that happens. So that was one of the reasons I got this beast, and yes, it's able to easily drive them. So both M10s and Logans are shining with this amplifier. I'll tell you about that a little bit later, but obviously this goes to one of the most recommended amplifiers on my list. So the summary. Now, this is one of the best amplifiers that I've heard so far, right at the top with T9.4. But to tell you which one of them is actually better, I need to compare them head to head, as they are really close. And honestly, I had no time to do that. I'm doing all of those reviews after my regular job that pays the bills for those things. But I will need to do that. I will need to do that because I want to know which one of them is actually better. Okay, so A-75 has clearly better functionality. T9.4 is just pure power amplifier. So when it comes to the functionality, this one is better, and that's clear. But I have a feeling that T9.4 may very slightly edge this amplifier when it comes to the bass control. But I'm not 100% sure about that because that's how close they are when it comes to my sound memory. There is one thing that I have to mention here. This amplifier is super sensitive to power cords and speaker cables. It's like one or the most sensitive amplifier in this regard that I've tested so far. It's like super sensitive. It magnifies whatever qualities the cables bring to the table, and I had to do some matching to get the best out of this amplifier. For power cord, I finally settled with Gold Odin, all, interestingly, with Dragon Source, not the Dragon High Current, as Dragon High Current was making mid-range dual. And for the speaker cable, I've settled with Dragon Full Range, and again that's interesting, as my reference AST silver cable and I cannot explain this as it's the best cable with all other amplifiers, made the upper mid-range and treble less transparent. So in this particular case, the silver cable, the pure silver cable, was not the best choice for the, and that's interesting part, for the transparency and the brightness of the top end. So this is important thing, as all amplifiers will benefit from good cable match, but with this particular one, it's like it's a mandatory thing to unlock its full potential. This amplifier gets to my recommended list immediately. I'm sorry, and I'm really sorry about that, guys, that I had no time to finish this particular review earlier in time to be able to make it during the back to school sale on AliExpress. But don't worry, there will be another sale coming in month or two at most. And in the meantime, I will try to get some more AliExpress codes from Ali for you guys. And if I will succeed, then look for them in the video description. I will update all of my recommended amplifier video descriptions with the additional codes if I will be able to get my hands on them. So again, all the links in the video description. My test system details also in the video description. If this review helped you in any way, you are more than welcome to support my channel by buying me a beer via PayPal link in the video description or via YouTube Super Thanks. So, thanks for watching, thanks for staying with me for so long. I hope you like this video, and I really hope that you'll have a wonderful day ahead of you. See you next time, guys. Bye. If you have any questions, give me a shout in the comments. I may not be answering them on a daily basis because I'm really busy with my regular job, but I'm trying to do this every second, every third day to catch up with my comments. So, see you next time and enjoy the great day ahead of you.